Today's webinar is titled Live Q&A, Answering Your Top Questions About Starting a Medical Billing Business. I do have a special guest with me on today. He joined me last webinar I did. He is my VP of Business Development. He's got a lot of information to share with us, and I thank you for joining us today, Jason. So why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Hey, everybody. Adam, thanks for having me on. And am I coming through loud and clear?
Sounds
Audio's
good.
working.
Yeah.
Why don't we go ahead and take one of these pre-formatted questions first? I'm just going to jump right into the first one that we had. This is if I'm on a phone call and it's the first phone call I have with someone who's interested in the business like this is almost always one of the first questions that comes up. How much of an investment? What is my financial outlay for a business like this? And it's pretty easy to find the investment on our website. It's listed all over the place. We only have one investment point, $27,990. That's it. There's no other packages. We don't have multiple investment points, $27,990 all in. So that's the starting point. Now, what other costs are there? I like to break these costs into two different categories. We have the startup cost. For any business that you start up, you're going to have some costs. For instance, website, hosting, email, things like that. We're partnered with a marketing company, and they have a package for us. They can get it up and running. They can have your website live in a few days. And I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, I think it's about $130 a year. That includes email, domain registration, and the web hosting for the site. The sites are already, sort of prefabricated. All you do is put your company information, your logo, contact information. They launch the site, and you get to pick the photos and the colors and everything. That's one cost. Forming your LLC, depending on what state you're in, you're going to have anywhere from $300 or $400 to $500 or $600 in most cases. You can use LegalZoom. That's a really cost-effective way to do it. Those are really the main costs up front. Then once you get your business launched, you've got some operational costs. And Adam, if you want to jump in and talk about some of the operational costs that people have when they start actually running the business.
It's very, very minimal. It's a couple $100 to set up your entity. As far as, if you want to do like a trade show or something, there's some of those happening again in the US, believe it or not. So, there's a little bit of a rental cost there. But in terms of like marketing cost, it's very, very low because our focus is getting business, helping you get business, mostly through networking, strategic partnerships with people, who can be good referral partners. We talked a lot about medical sales reps on our last webinar, and so a lot of the marketing is really your time and gas money and maybe a little bit of money to join a networking group. There's this group called Business Networking International, BNI, and I think their annual membership is a couple $100. So it's just very, very minimal. There's no, you don't have any retail space. There's no product to stock, in any kind of traditional franchise terms that have some of the stuff like that. So it's just very, very minimal. But yeah, the research guide, we're probably going to be referring to that several times. You definitely want to go download the research guide because it has a couple of pages that explain, here's some potential costs that you might run into, like insurance, for example. Some of our owners get what's called errors and omissions insurance. It just helps protect if there's any kind of errors that might happen. But you don't have to get it. I mean, your liability is very, very limited in this business. So there's not a big worry about, well, for example, we actually take care of the medical coding for you. So you're not making those coding decisions, which really takes a lot of liability off of you and your company. So anyway, but there's just several little things like that in that research guide. So go check that out.
Yeah, speaking of the research guide, Adam actually mentioned this in the beginning of the webinar, so I'm going to flash back to that slide. Here's where you can access that research guide. Also, you should already have some emails from an American Business Systems business development rep. So if you can look at your emails and find who your rep is, in your rep signature, there will be an absystems.com link in the signature. You can just click in any email that you've gotten from your rep in their signature, click the absystems.com link. That'll take you directly to the research guide that you can download. That's we call it a virtual brochure. It's got a button that you can click to download it. If you can't find an email, if none of this makes sense, you can always go to the website, go to where the little magnifying glass is right there, fill out your information on the form, and then it'll send you that link directly. More than one way to skin a cat, right? So Adam, appreciate your answer. I'm going to remind you again, we've got Q&A session. This is live, and you can go right to the Q&A section of your Zoom panel there. And we've got questions coming on in. We've got several from Catherine, all great questions, Catherine. We're going to answer those. We've got one from Victor. Victor got all the upvotes because we were advertising Victor on that first question. Thanks for sending that in. And actually, our next slide is going to hit right in the sweet spot of Victor's question. Do I need prior billing or sales experience to be successful? That's right in line with Victor's question. Do you need billing, coding, and training? So, no, you do not need billing, coding, and training. And this is an area of confusion for a lot of people who are coming into a business like this with us. When people talk about medical billing and coding, they say it just like I said it, billing and coding, and they just bunch it up into one, sort of component. And they're actually two distinct and separate services. At least that's the way we teach our owners to present it. So what our owners do is offer a billing service and a coding service separately, and there's a reason for that. When it comes to billing, what we mean by billing is filing medical claims. And what happens here is the doctor sends over the information that you need as the medical biller to file the medical claim. There's an ICD-10 code, a diagnosis code. There's a procedure code. There's the patient's identifying information, so you can actually create the claim for that patient. And there's a date of service. Those are the four main components. There's some other variables, but those are the four main ones. So the doctor or someone on the doctor's staff has to send that to you to file the claim. When you receive that, you open up a new claim for that patient. You fill in those four pieces of information, you run our diagnostic tool, and you file the claim. It is data entry. Medical billing is data entry. So the confusion here is our new owners a lot of times think that they have to become medical billing and coding experts, and you really don't. The bulk of what you're doing, providing the billing service, is simple data entry, taking what the doctor gives you, putting it in the claims form in our iClaim system, running the diagnostic tool, the audit tool, and which is called Denial Defender, and submitting that through the clearinghouse and then on to the insurance company. And Catherine actually had a question about the clearinghouse fees that we'll get to in just a minute when we talk about the software. So that's billing. We can teach anybody to file claims on our system in a few days. When it comes to the other side of things, which is medical coding or certified coding, that is a horse of a different color. So medical coding requires a significant amount of technical training. You really have to know not only what the codes are, but which code will be best to utilize in any given procedure scenario. And then in addition to that, you also have to know the ins and the outs of the insurance company's requirements and guidelines so that you have the proper documentation to back that up as well. So there's quite a bit of involvement. Training can be anywhere from 6 months to 2 years on the programs that you'll find online and in colleges and universities. And then above and beyond that, you can also have experience that's required as well. Doctors want to see significant experience. So how do we get around that? Because obviously there's no way that we can take someone who has no coding experience and just turn them over and have them start advising a doctor. You wouldn't even know where to start. So what we do is we're partnered with an awesome certified coding company. They have the certified coders on staff, and we can assign a certified coder to your doctor's office, and they sit in between you doing the billing and the doctor seeing the patients, and they dial those codes in just right. They optimize the codes so that when you file the claims, you get the best possible reimbursements, and it helps with the rejections as well because everything is looked at with another set of eyes. So that service is called CodeWrite. That's included with our business package. And there's no need to become a certified coder to run a business like this. Hope that answers your question, Victor. If you have follow-up questions on that, feel free to add to. Adam, did you want to add anything to that?
No, that pretty much covers. I mean, just to clarify, our owners don't do coding typically. Some of them do, but a much lower percentage are certified in coding because it is, like Jason said, it's like a 2-year schooling program. And we have certified coders that do that work for you, you know, for a minimal fee that you're marking up. So it just it just doesn't make sense to be certified in coding yourself when we've got the people that can do it for you. If you go look at our YouTube page, you will see dozens and dozens of interviews from some of our owners, and they will all say they had no medical billing or coding background whatsoever. I mean, our lead trainer that does the bulk of our training sessions now started in 2008 with zero medical background whatsoever, and she is a total expert now thanks to us. So she's so I mean, the story is the same for many of our owners. We can get you up and running with no background at all. So anyway, that was a long answer.
Yeah, long answer, but it's a great question. And it is definitely an area of confusion with people coming into the business. You don't need to be an expert. I'll add one more quick point to that. For those of you who are close to a decision and you're like, this is the business I want to launch, and you're getting excited about it, one mistake that we have seen frequently is when people go through training, they're scared to start doing the marketing. They're scared that they don't know enough. And rather than do the marketing, they'll go take a bunch of billing and coding classes, and they'll just get in the weeds on billing and coding, and they won't do any marketing whatsoever. So I would caution you, if you're really close to launching a business like this and you want to know, like, what are the missteps that people have, what are the bad choices people make when they're starting a business like this, one of the number one mistakes people make is trying to go become a billing and coding expert and getting a bunch of extra training. Remember, you're partnered with a company that specializes in this. We have experts who are going to be right by your side as you're getting clients onboarded and going through that process and filing claims. You do not need to add more to your plate. It's about getting clients in your first year of business. It's not about becoming an expert biller or coder. We've got tons of people that can help with that. Adam, what I'd like to do is kind of stay on this topic for a minute. Catherine has 4 excellent questions, and I say we just knock these out one at a time. And Catherine, thank you for such good detailed questions. These are awesome. So let's start at the top. Does the provider need to change their practice manager software to NextGen, or is the system interoperable? This is an excellent question. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who don't know in attendance on the webinar today, NextGen is our technology partner, and they power our iClaim and EMRX billing, practice management, and electronic health records platform. And they're, a monster in this space. They are one of the top 3 health information technology companies in the world. We're very fortunate to be partnered with them. So the question, though, is, does a doctor have to change their software, or can the software connect to the doctor software that they already have? And the answer is yes to both. So there's 3 basic scenarios that our owners see when they're doing what we call an implementation, which means getting the technology all connected and working for a potential client. Now, we're going to start from the most ideal scenario. The best results that a doctor is going to get with your services and with the technology is to do a full implementation of our iClaim system. That's the billing practice management system and the electronic health record system. If they implement the full, all the bells and whistles, they are going to see incredible results across the board in everything from revenue improvement to process improvement. It will help them in every aspect of their business. However, Catherine, I would assume you probably have some experience in the industry. As you know, sometimes doctors can be stubborn and reluctant to change technology. I always like to put it in the, a different context. For all of us who are on this meeting today, if somebody approached you and said, hey, can I get you to change your email software that you use? I bet if we polled everybody, we would have 100% of the people say, absolutely not. I'm not changing my email software. Why would any of us? We may have things that we don't like about it, but we're used to it. We don't want to change. What if somebody said, I'll pay you $10,000 a month to change your email software? I said, where do I sign, right? Show me where the sign up is. And then from that point on, you would just want to make sure, to see a demo of the email software, just make sure it's not terrible. As long as it's okay, I can deal with a okay email software if I'm making 10 grand a month. I know that's a weird analogy, but when it comes to doctors changing their technology, you have to remember that you're giving the doctor a proposal that shows massive increases in revenue. Most doctors increase their revenue $10, $15, $20,000 a month using the services of our owners. So that comes first. Hey, we're going to put money in your pocket every month. That's net profit. But we want you to take a look at the platform, because most doctors that do a demo of the platform move forward. So nobody wants to change their software, but when doctors see the financial gains and they also see the benefits of some of the features that we have in our software, all of a sudden they're a lot more interested in moving forward. So the second stage would be if a doctor is just, for whatever reason, it could be maybe they just bought an EHR system, they just went through the process and they're not going to migrate from that. Or in some cases, if they're in a highly specialized charting environment, without going into a lot of detail, there are a few types of specialty medicine where that's the case. They just may not be able to do some of the same things in our EHR platform that they could in the specialty platform. So in that case, we can connect our billing and practice management system to the doctor's electronic health record system. We can do an integration. There's about 20 or 30 integrations that are already written right out of the box. We can also do a custom integration. And that is a fairly common scenario, but it has to make sense. The numbers have to work, and it has to be something where the doctor's going to, be able to retain their features that they wanted. Now, the third scenario that you might have is if the doctor just flat out will not change anything. They're not changing a darn thing, and you might as well, save your breath. In that scenario, we have some owners who will do the billing on any system that the doctor chooses to use, either the system they have, or if they want to change to another system on the market, our owner will help facilitate that and will provide the billing service on the doctor's platform. We don't really recommend that because, you're kind of trying to be all things to all people. And, certainly you get different results, depending on which system the doctor wants to utilize. But some of our owners have been successful doing that. And you're allowed to do all of the above. So I hope that helps answer your question. If you have a secondary question in that same realm that you'd like to ask, feel free to throw another one in the Q&A section. But that's an excellent question. Adam, do you want to take the next question there?
Yeah, I can take Catherine's next question. Is this strictly professional physician billing? What about behavioral health, home care, hospice, etc.? That's a great question. I think Catherine's been doing a lot of research on this opportunity, and that's great. So our model is to market to specifically the small to medium-sized private medical practices, and any medical practice that's filing what's called a CMS 1500 claim form, which is essentially every provider out there except for hospitals and dental. They use a different type of form. Now, we can go after dental. We don't really go after the hospital market. It's a whole other ball game when it comes to securing those types of. There's so much red tape, and it's a whole different process of coding and different forms, and it's really tough to break into the hospital market. But yes, if they're filing any of those that are filing a CMS 1500 form, the answer is yes. Now, when it comes to the electronic health records system, now this is the system that doctors use in the exam rooms with the patients. So they're, it used to be just a clipboard and paper, but the government forced them to go electronic. So now they're on like a laptop or an iPad, hopefully. And there's a lot of different systems that are, clunky and not clunky. But basically, for those of you that don't know or who are not familiar with the industry, there are hundreds of different types of software, hundreds. And there's some that are really good. There's some that are really crummy. But they can't be all things to all specialties. So there are specialties that work much, much better with our product that we call EMRX, the medical record platform. And some specialties, maybe not so much. But ultimately, you can do the billing for any one of those that's doing the CMS 1500. So hopefully that clears that one up. I'll go ahead and take her next question about clearinghouse fees. She says, are there any clearinghouse fees? Actually, no, there's not. We do things a little bit differently. Our platform that we've been talking about, not only all these different platforms that we mentioned, not only were all of them built by the same development team under the same roof, but also they built our own clearinghouse. So we're not connecting to any third-party clearinghouses, so there are not any third-party clearinghouse fees. So it's really, really cool how our systems work. There's not additional fees like that. So hopefully that helps there. Do you want to take the next one?
Yeah, sure. And yeah, Catherine, again, these are excellent questions. Thank you so much. Feel free to keep typing them in because this is really helpful. This is a lot of fun for me and Adam too. Like I said, a lot of times we're just in kind of presentation mode and it kind of feels disconnected. It's fun to interact with you guys here. So can an ABS owner extend the services to denial management? Absolutely. Actually, you can, I saw you grimace, Adam.
Well, I was saying, I was thinking that's the whole point of what our owners are doing. Let me back up. And then there's someone else that asked a question related to this, but they typed it into the chat. The question related is, Craig was asking what percentage of claims get returned because of coding errors? So that's kind of denial management. And I don't know if we mentioned this, but the system that we have is so efficient because it's cloud-based, it's integrated. We are constantly updating it behind the scenes every night. So every time there are coding database changes, anytime there are new rules or regulations or new payment models, anytime the government comes out with, well, now you have to do it this way instead of this way, we have already updated our system well in advance of the government's timelines for these changes. So every morning when you log in, you have the latest, greatest version of all the new ways of doing the claims and denial management. So because of this, and because of some really unique features that we have built into our system, like Denial Defender, which you'll learn about when you see a demo of the system, it allows our owners to get a less than 2% claim rejection rate, less than 2%. So all of the claims that you're sending in through our system, 98% of them are being paid on the first submission. I mean, that is amazing. If anybody who's familiar with the industry, the average rejection rates out there are very, very high, 12%, 15%, 20%. They're crazy because of all the different crummy types of software that's not integrated, not cloud-based, and not up to date all the time. So denial management, absolutely, that is a big part of what our owners are doing. But the cool thing is there's a much smaller volume of denied claims that you're managing for them. So it's pretty cool. Do you have anything to add to that one?
Denial management, most of our owners are definitely going to have denial management as part of their services. The difference would be you're chasing a lot fewer denials. Our system, as Adam has mentioned, we have less than a 2% rejection rate through our clearinghouse. So it's quite a lot different than a lot of billing companies and in-house billers that doctors have who are struggling with 10, 15, 20, 25% or more rejection rate. That's a full-time job for someone to chase down those denials and rejections and get them corrected and resubmitted. Our owners have to deal with far less than that. So yes, most of our owners do offer denial management.
I do want to add, I'm sorry, I know this is a long answer. I do want to add one little thing. Catherine, it sounds like you're in the industry, possibly. You may be doing billing or coding right now. I'm probably not supposed to be saying this, but we have just partnered with another new company that's actually going to assist with appeals. So the appeal process for denied claims is really clunky, and you got to write letters, and send it, sometimes you got to mail them in, and it's just really clunky a lot of times. So we have we're partnering with a company that allows, it actually basically has like this AI in it that tracks all of the denials that are coming in and helps you focus on what the biggest return would be, as far as, the most value, so where to focus your efforts on, which ones you should appeal first. And then through a couple of clicks of a button, you can actually, it will do all of the letter writing and send it in for you and everything. So that's another feature that we're going to have available really, really soon. It's going to be really cool.
Let's jump over to, Ed's got a couple of questions in here. Let's handle a couple of Ed's questions.
Yeah, and then we need to jump back over the slides because we're running.
Yeah, we got to knock out some of these slides too. Who's your competition? We actually, let's see. I've got a slide in here somewhere. There you go. What's the competition? Yeah, so we can hop around. We're going to get lost, but who cares? Thanks, Ed. Good question. So competition, there's basically two different answers to this. I'm assuming that you mean competition in the sense of, if you start a business with American Business Systems and you're running a medical billing business in your local area, who's your competition is, I would assume, what you mean by that. So most of our owners see the competition in their local markets being smaller companies, your mom and pop type medical billing companies. There are a few companies that offer billing nationally. You can look at a lot of different ones. Like, for instance, Athena Health has a billing and electronic health record system, and they also offer a billing service alongside that. So there's a few companies like Athena Health that do that. And then there's also outsourcing solutions that are overseas that you see sometimes as well, and that does happen. So the difference would be between all of those different types of competition is what we are able to do for the doctor's revenue. Most doctors improve their revenue 20 to 30%. So I want you to think about this when you go into a scenario and it's a competitive bidding scenario, and you've got another medical billing company or an offshore company that's putting a bid down with the doctor right alongside your bid. I mean, that's what we're kind of talking about here. The difference between those two proposals are going to be quite stark. Most medical billing companies, when they give a proposal for billing and coding services like this, they're going to, their bottom line is going to be a cost reduction value. So they're presenting, a 0.5% or 1% savings to the doctor each month. Or yearly, or however they format their proposal. So cost reduction is the proposal. It's not very motivating to see a 1% cost reduction when you're going to have to change some of your processes in your software and things like that. So what we do is our owners are taught to instead, on their proposals, show the revenue improvement. We do address solving operational problems, streamlining processes, and we address some of the specific things that are uncovered during the fact finding that our owners do in the initial meeting with the office manager. But our owners' proposals show 20 to 30% revenue improvement, and that is a net profit scenario. So when it comes to competition, whether it's one of the Athena Health or one of the big guys with the billing service that's attached to their software, whether it's a mom and pop shop or a local company, or whether it's an offshore solution, they're looking at a small reduction in cost on that side. And then on your side, they're looking at a massive increase in revenue. And that's how we win these bids. If you're giving a proposal and the doctor's doing a demo, you have over a 50% chance of closing that as your client. We get deals done, and our proposals will stack up against anybody, any day. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to add, he's talking about bids and such. I mean, a lot of the ways that we help you get clients is through networking, referrals, strategic partnerships. So you're going to be put in touch with someone who has raised their hand already and indicated that they're they're looking for something new or something along those lines. But because of the channels that we teach you to utilize, you know, a lot of times you're not doing any kind of bidding against anybody else. You know, they're focused on your company alone and what you can do for them. So it's really cool when you're able to show them the revenue report, you know, from the initial analysis that we teach you how to do, that says, look, based on the information that you provided to me, you know, it looks like you've got some costs here that I can help reduce. You know, I've got some solutions to those. And then, of course, it's like any other business, you know, it's a matter of following up properly with the doctors that have seen a demo and they've seen your proposal. You know, you got to stay in touch with them. And we actually have an automated marketing, you know, we have automated marketing tools where you can stay, you know, in touch with them through postcards and emails and all kinds of stuff so that your company is top of mind, you know, when they're ready to make a decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump on another one of Catherine's questions because this is a pretty easy answer. Catherine asks, what about KPI reporting? Can we pull data reports to give providers an analysis on how well we are doing? Absolutely. We have amazing reporting features. There's a KPI dashboard that can be utilized, and you can generate custom reports. Doctors are very happy with our reporting, and a lot of times our more successful owners who are good with numbers and, you know, understand the value of analysis and being able to generate you know, helpful reports, what they will do is mostly on a quarterly basis is they'll generate a quarterly report for the doctor and they'll print it out in color. They'll get it, they'll bind it together professionally, or they'll put it in a nice presentation folder. And every quarter they'll give the doctor that folder. And it's, I mean, you want to talk about client satisfaction and, you know, having your clients really, you know, understand on a regular basis the value that you're bringing. You got to toot your own horn with that stuff, you know, so you put those in there and, you know, keep the doctor happy. So we have just about every report you could possibly imagine built into the system. Good question, Catherine. Thanks.
That's a good one. She needs a demo. I don't know if she's seen a demo.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, Catherine, ask for a demo of the system with your rep.
All right. So should we keep going with some slides here? What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. Why don't we jump over to, let's see, I just saw one a second ago. Umesh asks, how does ABS assist owners with getting clients? Adam, I'll swap the slide if you want to start with that question.
Yeah, so we actually covered that in detail on our last webinar that Jason and I did. So we can send you a link to that one because it's going to go into more specifics than we have time to today. But you know, it's let me see, where is that slide? What number is that? Where'd that slide go?
Slide 20.
20, there it is. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so I've already kind of briefly mentioned some of the marketing strategies that we've got, and they're all, you know, kind of more focused on the warm market, you know, your warm market. So there's a lot of people that you may know right now who know doctors or could put you in touch with doctors. And if you don't think there's anyone like that at all, we show you how to tap into the different networking groups and things that I mentioned so you can start getting referrals, which are still considered a warm lead. You know, if you know somebody who knows an office manager and they put you two together, you know, they introduce you, that's a warm lead right there. So it makes it easier for you to do that initial approach, which is just, hey, you know, I've got this analysis, let's do this analysis and let's figure out if you've got any costs that we can help you with. So we have about a dozen different methods, and we can send you a list of them all and kind of go down the list if you would like. So just get back with your ABS rep and we can kind of go into detail on that. And we can also send you that webinar we did, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, that really goes into detail on the marketing strategies. So.
I'm gonna flip back over to another question from Catherine. Catherine, we really appreciate you being on this webinar because your questions are excellent, even better than some of the questions we pre-wrote. Catherine's question is: do you help us creating our website, or are we on our own? Absolutely, we're partnered with a marketing company called Summit Marketing, and they're amazing, and you're able to choose from a semi-custom design. We have about, I don't know, 20 different designs to choose from, but you can customize the colors and the photos and everything to make it unique to your business. And then all you have to add is your company logo, your company name, and your contact information, and we can have the site launched in a few days. So absolutely, that's included.
Yep. Yeah, the site itself is included. You just have to pay your own, hosting fees, like Jason mentioned, which is pretty cheap. It's like $100 a year or something like that. Let's see. So we've got a couple more questions. Do you want to answer these questions people have typed still, or?
Yeah. I mean, this is great. We've got a few more here. So Victor's got a couple. Let's talk about territories first, because I actually do have a slide for that. So we do not have any marketing territorial restrictions whatsoever, Victor, none. And this is quite different than a conventional franchise. Most franchises, if you're looking into different industries and different types of conventional franchises, of course, most franchises will give you a small zip code or area code or a small carved out part of your local market, and that's it. You can't market outside of that. Sometimes franchises will allow you to do cross marketing, but you have to share the revenue with whoever the franchisee is in that other territory. We don't do that at all. What we do is we let our owners get clients anywhere in the US. So most of our owners start their businesses in their local market. They grow in their local market, but very quickly start to get customers as referrals that are outside of your city or state. And so there would just be simply no way for us to have marketing restrictions, because obviously you did a great job for one of your clients in your local market. You should absolutely be able to take that referral in another city or state. No restrictions whatsoever. We also have no royalties, zero. We make our money. We're going to have to throw back to a previous question about the clearinghouse fees. Doctors pay $254 a month to use our software. So we do a split with NextGen on that, and that's how we generate our recurring revenue. We don't take it off of your bottom line. So we don't take any profitability. There's no revenue sharing between ABS and our owners. There's no royalties or percentages at all that we take. All of the revenue that we make after the initial investment is from our partnership with NextGen. That's a great question, though. You can market anywhere. I will add one thing to that. The one thing that we do not allow is we do not allow our owners to poach clients from each other. We've never had, in 27 years, we've never had a problem with this. But if you happen to go into an office where there was already an ABS owner who was marketing, we would not allow you to displace that owner. It wouldn't really happen anyway, because you're offering essentially the exact same thing that owner is already providing. So it's just never really been a factor. But good question. Thank you. And Adam, do you want to take his other question there?
Let's see, the costing to doctors. It says, Victor says, I think he's talking about pricing your services as a licensee.
Right.
Is the pricing to doctors based on number of patient records processed? Not exactly. No, there's several different factors that you're going to be looking at to figure out how to price yourself. The type of doctor, their specialty, the complexity of the claims themselves, the number of claims being processed. There are several factors there. But what we're going to do is our support team is going to help you figure out every scenario that you run across and every proposal that you're putting together. We are going to look at the analysis that you've done and help you figure out what your pricing should be based on all of those different factors. You're typically going to be in the range of around 5 to 9%, almost always somewhere in that range. But our team is going to help you make sure that your proposal is a killer proposal and the doctor is going to love it and it's going to benefit them. It's going to benefit you and everybody wins. So we're going to help you every time for that to put those together. So.
Right. Yeah. Good question. And, pricing a proposal out, that's one of the benefits of partnering with a company like ABS with 27 years of experience. if you've never been in this industry and you don't understand how to do a needs analysis and prepare a proposal that's specific to that potential client, you're going to need a company like ABS to help you. We have an amazing support department, and they can help you dial in your pricing just right, to get the proposal just right. And of course, that's a part of your training as well. Let's hop over to Catherine's other question. So hers is a little bit technical. So Catherine is asking, when it comes to billing regional insurance companies, do we use the provider's group or individual NPI? If so, what if they're out of network and not credentialed? Can we offer assistance with that? So there's a lot of questions in here. So we can use the group NPI number or the individual NPI number, depending on how that practice is configured. Both scenarios are workable in the system. We actually have a liaison team with NextGen that are amazing at getting all that stuff wired together. That's another huge benefit of partnering with a company like ABS. We're not just out here trying to figure out how to do this. We're partnered with one of the top companies in the world at setting up systems like this for doctors. So we'll get the NPI numbers dialed in. What if they were out of network or not credentialed? Doctors struggle with credentialing. For those of you who aren't aware of what credentialing is what doctors utilize. It's a process that the insurance companies have for doctors to get on the in-network provider list. So, when you get a new job and the insurance plan that's available, they give you that in-network list, and it's a booklet with all the doctors that are on your in-network plan. In order for a doctor to get listed in there, they have to be credentialed with the health insurance company. So it's a grueling process that never ends. It's continually, they have to be updated. And so we do actually have a couple of credentialing partners that you can refer the doctor to, and you make a little bit of money, but we can provide credentialing services as well. That credentialing is not something that you want to get into if you don't know what you're doing, because it is quite extensive, the amount of detailed work that you have to do, and it's ongoing every year. But you can offer that.
We should probably do the wrap-up slides here, and then
Yeah.
maybe stay on and answer some more questions if anybody wants to.
Yeah, we can keep going. We can do the wrap-up and then maybe do some questions at the end. It's funny, Adam and I talked before this, and we had a whole bunch of questions baked into the presentation list because we didn't know if anybody would ask questions. Sometimes you get one or two questions in an entire hour of a webinar. You guys have been absolutely awesome. We appreciate you hanging out with us today, and these are some amazing questions. I'm going to jump on one real quick from Shirley Scott. This is an easy answer. Do we help with the business plan? We sure do. Send an email to your rep, and Shirley, in your case, that's me. You can shoot me an email, and I'll send you back our business plan template for you to utilize. And we do assist with that. Yeah, let's go ahead and knock it out, and then we'll see if we can do a couple more questions by the end of the webinar here. So, how do you get started? That's our wrap-up slide. We have a due diligence process that is step-by-step. We've developed this over almost 3 decades, and all of these items that you can see listed here are what we feel someone needs to research as they're trying to make a good decision on if this is the right business for them. So the research guide, we already talked about that. If you still don't know how to get your hands on the research guide, send your rep an email or call the 866 number listed there. We'll help you get it. Our YouTube channel, if you haven't hit our YouTube channel, definitely check it out. It's hundreds and hundreds of hours of recorded webinars like this. There's tons of content. I would encourage everyone on this webinar, if you have not gone and looked at some of our owner interviews on YouTube, they're awesome. You can just sort through there and find the licensee interviews, and I think you'll really enjoy hearing from some of our owners. Speaking of owners, the third due diligence step is owner references. You can call and make validation calls. You can speak with some of our owners. If you would like a list of owners that have offered their time to speak with you, reach out to your rep, and your rep can provide you with a list of owners. And it's a great way to research the business. Live demo. This is the biggest. If we could put a gold star by a live demo, if you haven't gotten a live demo of the iClaim system, send an email to your rep, have them send a link to their calendar, and take a look at the iClaim software. It's absolutely amazing, especially you, Catherine, if you haven't had a demo yet. I think you'll really enjoy it. And then the final steps are purchase agreement. We use a document signing service called HelloSign. It just takes a few minutes. We can send you a copy of the agreement for you to review, and then it's a few clicks to sign the agreement when you're ready. And then the last part is the funding and training. I've been with the company 16 years. We've got a lot of great representation. Get with your rep and they can walk you through how to best set up your funding, and they can help you get your first training session scheduled. Of course, we have training that's built in. It's all live online training, and we'll set up your first session to be right after your funding and agreement are sent through. One more quick thing I want to mention before we try to tackle a couple more of these questions. We have the only unconditional 30-day money-back guarantee that I'm aware of in the franchise world. I don't know of any other franchise that has this. So the way this works is, if you make the investment with ABS, within 30 days of your investment, if for any reason you determine that this is not a good fit for you, you can go all the way through training. We ship the business package out to you. You see the marketing materials, all of it. If you decide within 30 days of investment that this is just not the right fit, we'll give a full refund of your $27,990 investment. Nobody else is putting their money where their mouth is on that, and we're very proud. We don't have to give very many refunds because people come out of training pretty excited to get their companies rolling, but it's a great thing to have there for you. So now I think, Adam, you want to take a few more questions? We can go a few minutes past the hour here.
Yeah, sure. There was one I wanted to get to that was typed in the chat a while back. Taylory asked, how promising is this business in a rural area? That's a good question and a valid concern. I got a couple of different thoughts on doing business in a rural area. First of all, being in a smaller area typically means that the way the marketing methods that I mentioned earlier about networking and referrals, and we have found it to be a little bit easier to get introduced to medical providers in a smaller towns, rural areas. So the methods that we teach are really key to getting those introductions to office managers and doctors. And it's we have people in a lot of different rural areas that are doing really, really well. So we can talk to you more about that. The other thought I had was, you have to really think about what our owners are earning, which I don't think we got to touch on that slide, but basically, to sum it up, you can make about 25 to 30, somewhere around there, $1,000 annually in gross revenue on one doctor. And that's only about 1 to 1.5 hours of work a day. So if you were running this business by yourself, you could probably handle 5, 6, maybe 7, somewhere around there, doctors, and you'd be making a really, really good income. I mean, you could very quickly see how you could get to a 6-figure income with just a small number of clients. So yes, it works really well in a rural area. What else do you see there?
Ed's got 2 pretty good questions in here. Ed, the question that you had about marketing plans on the corporate level versus the owner level. So when you go through training, our lead trainer, Cynthia Anderson, is an absolute rock star in the business. And when you finish training, you will have a step-by-step marketing plan that's custom tailored for your skill set. And we have developed this over decades. So that's another reason why we feel that the money back guarantee is so important, because you exit that training with Cynthia, which is 10 live online sessions, or about 1.5 hours per session, and they're scheduled at your convenience. During those sessions, of course, they're going to teach you, Cynthia will teach you how to file claims and the operational side of the business and all of that. But most importantly, getting clients, it's a pretty big deal. None of this matters if you can't get clients. So she teaches you the step-by-step marketing plan, helps you develop it, and you know exactly what you're doing when you complete the training and you finish all of your business infrastructure set up, you're out there hitting the ground running with a step-by-step plan. And that's going to dovetail nicely right into your other question, which is what is the time frame for owners to become cash flow positive? Well, so the investment is $27,990. Our average owner finishes training in about 30 days, 2 or 3 weeks, and then you have your business set up. In about 30 days, you should be ready to be out there marketing. Most of our owners who follow the marketing plan get their first client in about 60 to 90 days. So the quick math here is the average income that you'll generate from a single doctor client is going to be $25,000 to $35,000 a year. So it's a $27,990 investment. Somewhere in the 12-month range, you'll hit break even on your investment, assuming that you get a doctor in that category. Now, our owners go on to get a second and third, and sometimes even more. We had one of our owners picked up 13 clients in the first 90 days after their training. The guy was a medical sales rep, so he had a significant advantage, but that gives you an idea of the potential. So he was cash flow positive, right out of the gate. Most of our owners will break even somewhere in the range of 6 to 8 months picking up a second or a third client. But it all depends on how many clients you pick up. Now, remember too, a client can be a single doctor practice. A client could also be a specialist. A client could be a group practice of multiple specialists, 5, 8, 10, 20. We have one of our owners had a 98 doctor group specialty medicine practice, and she was making 6 figures a month. It was quite amazing. So I hope that answers your question. Good questions, Ed. Appreciate you being on the webinar here. Adam, you want to pick up the last one there from Victor about employees?
Yeah, Victor is asking, what's the average number of employees franchises require or have? That's a good question. So your role can be whatever you want it to be in this business. There's a lot of people that want to roll up their sleeves, learn the system, and do all the work. They want to do the claim processing, the marketing, everything. And like I mentioned, one person running the business by themselves could probably handle 5, 6 clients, something like that. The question is, do you want to grow your business? If you want to grow it beyond roughly 6 clients, you are going to need some help. So we have people that start hiring friends, family members, or regular old people off the street. Who knows? It depends on what their certifications are. But yeah, I would say our owners that have a very, very large business, our big producers, someone who's got 20, 30 clients, 40 clients. We did a webinar that talked about, we interviewed a lady, one of our licensees. Her name is Wendy Bruno. We recently played a clip of that interview on a webinar, and she said that she has 40 clients and 7 staff members. So without doing all the math, 40 clients, she's grossing 7 figures. And she did have office space. I think they were going virtual at that point. But there you go. So she had to have 7 people helping for 40 different doctors. So really, it just kind of depends on the volume, the complexity again, but one person can handle about 6 clients or so, somewhere around there, 7 clients. So,
man, I think we did it. I think we knocked out just about everything. If we missed any questions, please feel free to reach out to us on the website or the toll-free number. Contact your rep directly. We're more than happy to help. Don't forget, we do these webinars every single week, Wednesdays at 4 o'clock Central. And next week, the topic is how much do medical billing franchises make? So you get to find out all the fun income stories from some of our successful owners. So, but we appreciate everybody joining us today. Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun. Looking forward to doing another one of these sometime soon. Hope everybody has a nice evening. Thanks for having me on, Adam.
Yep, you got it, Jason. We'll see everybody next week, hopefully, if you can make it.
Take care, everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye.